Co-founder of Little Tusk, where we are pioneering the future of interactive financial literacy education. So this is a project that was started by my husband Jordan and I after I began doing a classroom economy in my 5th grade class, and then shared that journey on my social media platform of almost 8 million followers. And it became very unanimously known that financial literacy education is not happening in our American schools. And youth are entering adulthood lacking those skills, and they don't know how to manage their money, which is really scary. So we did some more research, and we found that 25% of US kids have access to financial literacy. That's a quarter of us, which is not great. And that doesn't even mean that it's high quality education. So we set out to solve that problem by creating an interactive and gamified platform that would make learning, educating children on financial education fun and exciting. So far in our journey, we have become I-Corps graduates. Like as Chandler said, we were the winners of Shark Tank last year, which was super exciting for us, and we're really grateful for that. We were just accepted into the 2025 spring cohort of the Northeast Ohio Student Venture Fund, where we get to work with university students and can potentially get another $10,000 investment through that program. And we're in the phase of MVP development. We got a scholarship through YBI, and we're working with Dev Youngstown. They're doing a fantastic job, and we're super excited to start seeing our dream come to life. So, although all of that amazing stuff is happening, we do realize we have some challenges as well. We don't currently have an in-house software engineer or a team member with a technical background. Our strengths currently lie in education, curriculum development, marketing, and user experience design. But having that technical background with one of our team members would strengthen us for sure. We're currently relying on third-party support to accomplish all technical goals. Although our third-party support is doing awesome, we would love to have that in-house so that we can accomplish those goals as quickly as we possibly can and be able to innovate further. And then we know that our growth of our company is going to absolutely rely on internal software development. That is going to be crucial for the long-term success of Little Tusk, and that would help us to innovate and be able to develop new parts of our program and our platform as quickly as we can and get those out to customers as fast as we can. So that being said, I will open the floor to questions.
Great. Anybody have any questions?
It might be good just to keep it rolling, otherwise we could...
We got about a minute if there's questions. Yeah. We started 10 minutes late, but I'm just pushing.
Do you know your tech stack?
Do I know my tech stack?
Do you know, yeah. If somebody asks you that, do you know the answer to it?
Nope.
Oh.
Which is why I need a technical expert, because I'm a teacher. Okay, I have a vast expertise in education. I need someone technical to help me with that kind of stuff.
I guess I could answer the question.
Sure, I know you can.
So we're helping Dev Youngstown, which I help with, is building MVP using React. Mm-hmm. It's going to be like a PWA. It's not clear if it needs to eventually be like a gamify, like a full like Unity game at some point, but the MVP is going to be web-based. So having someone who's able to navigate through that and choose different technologies, starting out with React and what they have and figuring out what the next thing they need at the next level of evolution would be really appropriate.
Thank you.
You had a question?
Yeah, well, how do you educate, or what things do you cover? Is it for children, adults?
Yes, so our platform, we aim to make it kindergarten through 8th grade, because currently there are no curriculums for kindergarten through 8th grade in financial literacy. Right now, it is mandated in the state of Ohio and about 7 other states for students to learn financial literacy in 1 semester course in high school. And that's it. So we aim to fill that gap. And right now, the lesson that we created for our MVP is a 4th grade lesson on opportunity cost. So they follow our mascot, Momo, the mammoth, through like a jungle theme, and they have to complete different tasks and stop him from spending his money so he can get to the amusement park and spend it on a ticket to go to the amusement park instead of, random things along the way. So we're hoping to make it a lot like a video game, but just aim towards that younger age group.
All right, I think we gotta move on. If you have more questions, please
Sorry.
ask.
Hi everybody, I'm Lydia Floyd. I want to first say how grateful I am to be part of YBI. We've been receiving support. Our tech team is from Youngstown, and I was born in Youngstown, so this is really personal to me to be so happy to be part of this. So I'm here today. I'm the CEO and founder of ContractScope. We are attorneys. I'm an attorney. What we realized though is that we're here to talk about the sale of insurance. So sale of insurance is a $1 trillion industry, and to sell insurance, insurance brokers have to find the best insurance policy for businesses. So they're trusted with reading those policies, which leads me to the problem. The problem is that these insurance brokers are manually reading these policies. They're spending hours reading policies that can be hundreds of pages. And what this means to them, because they make money on commission, is that they're not able to sell as much insurance, so they're losing revenue. So we came up with a solution. We can use AI to help those brokers review, compare, and sell insurance policies. What this means is they're going to have more time to sell insurance. So our product right now is 3 things. First, we use AI to identify the key clauses that matter to that broker so that they can pair that tool. We take their time from 3 to 40 hours down to a few minutes. Second, we know they're experts. So what we do is allow them to put their expertise into the tech so that they can scale that. So when they're reviewing, their notes and expertise will come up during the review. They can use this within their team to help grow. And finally, they need to show their customers their analysis. We've taken a manual chart that they would create on Excel and automated that, hours to minutes. What we do is we help insurance brokers make more money. We can help them find the right policy for a customer 10 times faster. So we've got a great team. I've got Ami, my co-founder here. I have Jenna, our UX designer, Nick, our lead. And there's another founder. We have Julie. We're attorneys. We've got business. We are already in the insurance space for the last couple of years. We've been in the AI contract review space. What we need is I need someone who can help us at a high level develop the product on a security front. So taking us maybe through SOC 1 through SOC 2 to understand, to give that reassurance to the enterprise customers we anticipate being around the security. Also, on top of that, we're actively looking for maybe a CTO to join our team. Although I have to tell you, Nick is so awesome that I feel like I have a CTO. So that's it.
All right. Thank you, Leah. Anyone have any questions before she runs off?
I wanted to drill down into the software person you're looking for a little more specifically. It sounds like maybe it's sort of a back-end web application sort of role, because you're bringing this data to a client, like they're going onto an app or onto a website, right? Is that what that role is?
Yeah.
And even maybe storage of some of that data and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we actually just recently discovered we're in a land race, right? So we've got a competitor who just raised money a few months ago, and so right now we know that this is a product that has a fit. And we know that we've got a platform, and so what they're focused on, and this is like AI, right? People get worried about security, and insurance is about trust. So I'm looking for someone with that experience to march us through making sure we can give that reassurance if they're asked by an enterprise customer, right? We've done this, our data's secure, these are our security best practices.
Okay, so maybe you already sort of have an existing platform and you're maybe trying to harden it, specifically looking for somebody with security detail to even take a look at all that stuff and make sure it's compliant.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Anyone else?
Is this strictly for insurance brokers?
No. So it actually was developed by, we're in the insurance space already, and so our first customer on our other platform is an insurance company, and it's a captive insurance company. And they said to us, we have 150 members, we have different policies, we need help reviewing them internally. So it's actually for insurance professionals, but brokers.
20,000 I'm additionally insured on about 20,000 policies, and we need to search for exclusions. Sounds like you have about 90% of that. So maybe we can talk after.
Oh,
That'd be great, yeah.
all right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'm Drew Lund, I'm the founder of Rapt. Before getting into this founding journey, I spent the last few years in the world of software startups, from advising to founding customer success manager, chief of staff, kind of ops and things like that. Before that, I had what I think probably many of us in the room can relate to is the most natural, like, launching board career to get into tech startups, which was pastoral ministry. That is a joke because I think we all kind of get that that's actually, the world of tech and faith is actually about as far apart as they can be sometimes. But when you think about it, that's kind of interesting because the niche of Christians in America is so large that I don't know if we can really call it a niche. 140 million Americans identify as Protestant Christians alone, right? This is a very large group of people that frankly don't have a lot of software available to them. And especially if we get into the world of personal Bible study. So this is something that virtually every Christian does in some form, in some way, in some level of frequency. Christians are spending time with God on their own at some point. And there are apps out there for that, but these apps are largely archaic and they really fall into two main categories. First of all, you've got apps that are, and this is what most fall into, that are just frankly impersonal. And for a faith that is encouraged to be highly personalized, personal walks with God and all these kinds of things, apps that are rigid and cookie cutter and shallow, they lack variety, they lack depth, they lack breadth, they lack all these things. It just doesn't really cut it, especially when the app is essentially telling you what you're going to study. Because what they have available is what you got. Even if it's not meeting you where you're at, even if it's above or below your level of comprehension, whatever, maybe it's not cutting it. The other kind of apps that are out there are ones that are incredibly deep and rich, but come at the cost of a high manual labor and high level of skill required to the point that you really literally need a seminary degree to even be able to begin to use them. So we have a bridge, we have a gap between a faith that is highly personal and timeless, truths that have been around for thousands of years, and it's hard to bridge those things together. So that's what we're doing with Rapt, is we've created an app that allows users to tell the app what they want to study instead of the other way around. So what users can do is they can go into Rapt and they can say, this is what I want to study today. It's a portion of scripture that I want to dwell in. It's a topic that's interesting to me. It's a question that's on my heart or on my mind. And the user tells the app, then the app uses AI and other kinds of automation to generate from scratch a study personally curated for that user using a range of things from how long they like to spend studying, how frequent they study, and other kinds of personal elements like that. And the study is generated just for them with scripture, of course, but also with books from outside of the Bible. There are thousands of years of Christian history that we have, really well defined, really well written, trusted, but also hard to find for users that don't know who to trust and who to look at, and also hard to be able to understand sometimes. And this app solves that problem for the user by being able to just draw excerpts that are directly relevant and tied into the passage for the study of that day. It all connects together, and it's supplemented and supported by reflection questions and prayer prompts and other kinds of engagement tools like that that are tailored directly to that user and that study on demand from scratch every time. And where we are right now is we have an app, we have a prototype, we're functional, we're entering beta testing right now. We are approved for the iOS App Store, but waiting on launch until our alpha testing is complete for that. I'm securing key partnerships, talking with some publishers. I have a lot of public domain, solid books that are thousands of years old that are phenomenal, but I'm working on getting some modern ones in there as well, and also in the early preparations for funding conversations as well. Our technical focus in the future, this is where the app gets really interesting, is AI is everywhere, right? But AI is not great at nuance, and it hallucinates and other things like that, that when we're talking about like timeless truths that the users using this app believe are unchanging, we don't want AI to present that weirdly. That's why we talk about curating rather than generating more so. And so there's a lot of nuance and a lot of opportunities to refine and improve that over time while continuing to retain guardrails that are going to be really important with the kind of material that we believe is really valuable and has to be handled with care. So yeah, that's basically where we are and
Great job.
scene.
We have time for probably one question. Ralph?
Have you thought of adding features features, buttons, like is it a sin or am I going to hell?
That's an interesting question, but there's a lot of opportunities for customization depending on our early user feedback. Did I dodge that one well? Thank you. Good?
Great job, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yay. Don't let my lack of enthusiasm change your minds.
Derek Whitaker.
Hey guys, I'm from Toledo. So EventPin is an event discovery application. That's pretty much the core focus of it. So event discovery has been an issue for a long time. A lot of the competitors focus on the non-discovery portion of that. So that's the marketing aspect. We're gonna blast emails out for you and get people to show up. We're gonna sell tickets for you. But nobody's really solved or is attempting to solve that. There's nothing to do around here. I guarantee you there's something to do. There's something to do right now. We're all here doing it. So what we want to do is really simplify that discovery portion. So you can think of us as the Google Maps, but instead of for businesses, it's for events. Our cornerstones are going to be no ads, no algorithms, and before you tech guys are like, oh, well, you have a sorted list, that's an algorithm. We're talking about like curated things. Eventually we might get into curation and allow users to have an algorithm that decides stuff for them as a secondary opt-in feature. But we want to put the discovery portion back in the hands of the user, where you're not getting recommended things, you're not getting hit with emails. I was on a website the other day for an event, and then I started getting hit with like 3 emails in a period of about an hour, made me sick. So we don't want to sell data to third parties either. So we're really just trying to cut the bullshit of all the marketing practices all these places are doing right now, and simplify it and make it user-centric. And we believe if we make it user-centric, users are going to follow, businesses are going to follow suit. We'll have a subscription model to have enhanced features on there so you can change the color, the shape of your pin, things like that. So really, we've got our web and mobile platforms out there right now, so you can download EventPin on your phone right now and check it out if it's something you want to get into. But we really want to get into like the event intake space, making that a little bit cleaner, adjust the UI. We've got some minor UI issues. We have growing local buy-in, which is really cool. And we've got a bunch of future features that we want to do. So the subscription mechanics, ticketing. Ticketing is really expensive. I don't know why. We have found solutions to make it less expensive. So you go in, you undercut your competitors. Because you're a discovery app, you undercut them in the ticketing, and it destroys their business model, and that's what I'm all about. So here's our tech stack. So we're using Flutter and Material. For the back end, it's .NET on AWS with Maria. And then our web platform is React with MobX, and also Material. So we're trying to use Material across platforms to make it pretty consistent. That might be my last slide. Well, here we go. So what we're looking for as far as our challenges go, we need a CTO. So it'd be great to have a CTO on board, and then some additional developers as well, just to get your hands on, get in there, get stuff done quickly, turn and burn features. But UI UX is important. We've got 5 years of development that we're really trying to knock out as fast as possible. CI/CD pipeline, source control, our CTO would handle all that. Right now I'm using Azure DevOps, but we can do any sort of DevOps ticketing system. So it's pretty much come in, take a look what we have, see how we can optimize, streamline, and really kick this thing in the ass, because you're not going to make $1 million working for a salary for somebody, so come work for us and get some equity.
All right, Elijah?
So do you make money on the ticketing?
We will eventually, but we're going to just, so like Eventbrite right now is like $1.79 a ticket plus 4% of the ticket price, and then they tack on the processing fees. So we'll do pass-through processing fees and then something stupid like 50 cents a ticket.
Do you expect this to be mostly in-person ticketing, or are you looking at webinars as well?
All of our events on EventPin are going to be strictly like in-person events, so something that's physically happening somewhere for a limited period of time. So all those events can include things like that. We're targeting food trucks, garage sales. We're trying to hit that minutia that a lot of these other bigger places are missing, because we want to build the user base. And when we build the user base, what we're going to do is build the opportunity for other businesses to be discovered organically. Because right now, the only way for those businesses to be found is to tell somebody. You can't just exist in the world anymore. Social media destroyed that. So we're trying to take that back, where all I have to do is put out the signal of, hey, I've got an event that is bar trivia. And you're like, oh, hey, I'm interested in bar trivia. Where can I find some? Well, there you go. So we're just trying to bring that back.
So I look at hometown as well, ticketing, they sold into schools, they do all the school events, ticketing, that'd be something interesting. And then do you plan on doing like pickup basketball games?
Rec sports, yeah.
How you would make money, like if it's not.
Not everything on there is gonna be about making money. Some of it's gonna be, hey, we want users on the platform, but users lead to money. So you have rec basketball in there. Those users that go to try and find rec basketball will eventually find other categories of things to do that can lead to ticketing. But really our target market is gonna be people that pay for the subscriptions. So all the niceties where, if I post it on EventPin, it's also gonna post it on Facebook and LinkedIn. If I put it on EventPin, I can change the color and the shape and make myself stand out a little bit. Or I can subscribe and have recurring events. So I set up my weekly event one time and it pukes it out and I never have to touch it again. So subscriptions for bigger businesses, things like that. But you're right, we're not gonna make money on everyone. It's not the target. We wanna service everyone.
All right, thanks, Derek.
Thank you. Come find me.
I'm Dan. I'm the founder and CEO of Theralogics, and our journey began when I was practicing as a physical therapist. I began seeing the same kids in with the same injuries over and over again. And at the same time, knowing that there's high quality programs that they can do, but they're just limited in access due to expense and accessibility of some of this equipment that they could be using. So our mission at Theralogics is to help patients with certain conditions that have really high re-injury rates get better care and reduce these re-injuries in a way where it's not being met right now due to lack of portability or expensive equipment. So right now the problem, so certain injuries like ACL injuries or hamstring injuries in the leg, 33% of these end up with a re-injury. And patients with total knee replacements, a lot of times they have persistent weakness that leads to increased risk of falls. And for both of these, we know that strength is a modifiable risk factor. And for these athletic injuries, we also know 46% of these kids are going back to the sport without meeting that strength criteria. So our solution is a portable device, a brace-like device that the patient would put on that will allow them to perform eccentric exercises, where the muscle lengthens under tension as it activates. You can see here the patient is providing an effort to bend the knee as the device is forcing their knee straight with an overcoming force. That's the best way to improve strength to limit these re-injuries. And then also have a mobile application to track data and allow for remote therapeutic monitoring with their provider. You see our third generation prototype, which is a brace with some extra hardware. There's a linear actuator that provides enough force to overcome the user's muscle effort in either direction, and an accelerometer so it knows where the knee is related to the environment, and a force sensor. So the user would do a strength test where it would look at how much force they can generate, and based off of that score, it would set them a range to work in to where they know they're going to be safe, but still a sufficient load to create a positive change. And then it would share that data with the therapy provider so the therapist can make actionable decisions based off of that for the next time they see that patient. Some progress to date, we have filed a non-provisional patent application. We have finished our third generation prototype, which is one that we're looking at taking towards manufacturing. The initial software MVP is currently in development with the senior design project at Gannon University in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I was awarded a grant through the YBI and received an initial investment from the Northeast Ohio Student Venture Fund. So our next milestones, we're right now getting some quotes for the small run of manufacturing for the hardware component of it, for some usability testing, some non-clinical testing, and working on entering into a pilot program. The software component, we know that at some point we're going to need to kind of meet some capabilities that won't be met with the student group that's working on it right now. So we're going to be looking for a software lead to join the company to make it a HIPAA and FDA compliant mobile application, an ability to store data, and so we can compare the user's data to the normative key performance indicators that we're aware of. And this is the team. Again, myself, I'm a physical therapist. I'm joined by two biomechanical engineers, and advised by Stefan Agmanolis here at the YBI.
Thanks, Dan. Any questions? Nick?
Do you have any specifics on the software person you're looking to bring in, like tech stack kind of question kind of thing?
Right now, I think our biggest need would be to like manage the data end of it, so it'd be more like a back end
Okay.
one with that. Because the idea is we want to take the data from the users to expand on the normative data as well, so we get better comparisons based on age, sex, and sport.
So most of that stuff is sort of internal data that's calculated you guys keep and then iterate on.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, anyone else? All right, thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
It's an honor to be here today. Yeah, it's an honor to be here today. So, education is evolving, but still, STEM learning is struggling to make a real-world keep up with the real-world applications. So, students are disengaged, teachers are overburdened, and institutions lack insights to keep tracking progress, what a teacher is doing in class and what a student is doing in class. So Vigyus is an AI-powered simulations, interactive assessments, and a performance tracking tool. Educators spend 20 hours a week in creating a lesson plan and assessments and finding resources to make an interactive classroom. And teacher administrator spends around 38 hours a week in tracking the teacher and student performance. And students disengaged from, around 60% of students are disengaged from the STEMs because of traditional methods fail to create an interactive learning experience. And our solution is AI-driven simulations and adaptive assessments and industry-aligned content to boost engagement and track student progress. So AI-driven simulations and lesson plans will help a teacher to create a customized lesson plan, and seamlessly she can integrate any kind of an interactive simulation to a tailored student learning style. With a interactive simulations, student can engage. It's basically student will have a hands-on learning experience. It's a kind of a virtual environment where the student can manipulate a different variables to explore a different concepts. So when the next is the tracking the performance for teacher as well as a student will give a boost to an administrator as well as a teacher to get an insights. So to track the performance and engagement of a student with our simulation platform. And it will reduce the workload to spend that many hours to collect the data. So we have successfully tested in 3 different schools in India, and we got an amazing results from that. So our mode is an AI-driven simulation and personalized assessment and a real-time progress tracking. We believe Vigyus could create a global impact in a STEM learning.
All right, you'll have to talk through the rest because can't tell you what to do.
So it's basically an AI-driven interactive simulations and real-time performance tracking platform. So it will help an administrator to track a real-time analytics, what a student is doing in class and out of the class. And we are measuring a particular data, what exactly he's performing in mathematics and how he's choosing his career in terms of STEM. So for that, we are creating an interactive simulation where a student can explore and can test his curiosity with a different courses like in math, in science, in physics, in any kind of a subject. So yeah, that's what it is.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Are you looking for help?
Yeah, actually I'm looking for help with the subject experts. Yeah.
What kind of experts? Sorry.
Subject experts.
Subject
yeah,
experts.
subject
So, like-
experts. Yeah, I have a team, so where they are having a good skills to work on this product. So I'm just looking for a subject experts and someone who could help me to scale this product in a proper way. So I have a co-founder whose name is Jennifer, but she is not here right now. So yeah, she had experience towards the allocating the grants edtech industries in the K-12 segment. Yeah.
You said you had, is there enough time?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say you need to talk to Elijah.
So the 3 successful trials that you did, why would you define them successful? What was successful about them?
Actually, we tested our platform in 3 different institutions for 1 week. We have done the trial works. We have given our whole product to an educator to use it in creating a lesson plans and using the interactive simulations while she is explaining in class. So we have gathered some data, like in a different formats, the student engagement rate over the traditional method of teaching, and using Vigyus as a platform while a teacher is delivering the concept for science. Basically, we have developed only for 3 simulations, which is targeted. We have targeted only a 9th grade students to do our pilot testings.
Okay.
So engagement was the metric.
Yeah, engagement was a metric, and the other is the student assessment rate. Like they have performed well than the previous. Okay.
All right, thank you. You guys can take this after.
My name is Jeff Hedrick. I'm one of the founders of BrandWorth. BrandWorth is going to measure, manage, and maximize brand as a financial asset. So if I was asked virtually any group of business people, how important is brand important or valuable to a company, I think 100% of people would say yes. And yet if I was asked almost any company in the US, privately owned company, what's the financial value of your brand? What's it worth? Almost no one could tell me. Even though publicly traded companies, you may not know it, if you buy a share of stock in almost any publicly traded company, part of the value of that is attributed to brand. There's formulas that use. That's why you hear about Apple. Apple's not the most valuable company in the world, it is the world's most valuable brand. And that's why even if Apple has a down quarter, the stock price barely goes down because that brand is so powerful, right? And yet, if you build a company today, we're one of the 10 million companies and make at least $1 million up to about $500 million a year, and you build a powerful brand, you're paid 0 for it. And we want to change that. We want to make owning a brand as valuable for private company owners as it already is for public company owners, the shareholders and leaders of that company. We're going to do it through a software as a service platform. And the URL is whatsmybrandworth.com. Now there's a lot of complexities that go into figuring out how you place a financial value in a brand. I'll get a little bit into that. But the value proposition is simple. You want to know what the brand of your company is worth? This is where you go to find that out. Make sense so far? So what's the brand problem for private enterprise? Number 1, and then I'll just talk about how we solve that, BrandWorth. Private enterprise owners who build solid brands leave substantial money on the table. But the flip side also has to be true. It's only good for sellers of companies. No one's going to want to use this on the buy side. But the reality is, private enterprise buyers are often overpaying for companies because they have no way to evaluate the brand. Is it a good brand, a weak brand, a strong brand? You want that to inform what if you want to buy it in the first place, what you're willing to buy it for. And then leaders are managing without the guidance of a key financial metric that's going to help you grow the company. And I'll get more into that. So obviously what we're going to do is we're going to make the financial value of a brand known to you, or if you're trying to buy a company, what it's worth. And then that data is also going to help you manage that company. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, as I mentioned, public companies already do this. We studied how it's done, talked to some of the world's foremost experts, and said, okay, how can we do 2 things for private companies, and it has to be through a software as a service platform. That's the only way to bring scale to it, right? And so no one has built a software platform. There are companies that do brand valuation just for the huge companies around the world like Apple. No one does it for private companies unless they're huge, and no one does it through software. So we spent a lot of time. I come from an ad agency background. I should have started with my advisors here with the fact that there's a legacy product we did manually in brand evaluation for clients. Made pretty good money at it. Wanted to develop the software platform, but adding this valuation, which is the key piece. So we discovered there's all these various domains of this thing called brand. Brand is very definable. Far more than this thing, if you're in the M&A space, you know what goodwill is. It's a nightmare. People try to figure out what's the goodwill of this company. You can't figure it out, you argue about it. Brand is definable. We measure that. We give you a score of how strong your brand is relative to your competitors in your industry. And that is going to give you a brand evaluation report, not the financial value of your brand yet, but how's it doing? Like, are you spending what people in your industry should spend? Like, do you have a brand style guide, right? Do you teach your employees about your brand? All the kind of things that a brand means in the marketplace. And you're gonna get a score, and you're gonna report with it, of course, right? Yes, AI is gonna be part of it. We have to have, everyone's gotta have AI as part of your thing, right? Let's give you a report on why you scored this and why you didn't. A score of 0 to 1,000, kind of like a credit score in the personal finance realm, and we'll talk about that. But then we're gonna take that information from that, and we're gonna be able to give people a valuation formula. We need 3 years of the company's data that we're doing it for. So it's not just for startups, you have to be in business 3 years. We're then gonna take an industry pricing multiple. We get all this data from your industry category, how you perform relative to competitors. And then our BrandWorth brand multiplier. That's that brand strength score. Some of that plays into the valuation formula. All of this meets international standards of how brand valuation is done for large publicly traded companies. And then we give people a range, kind of like Kelley Blue Book, right? How much is your car worth? And it gives a range. In this case, this was a company that had a valuation of the company, not a big company, $11 million was its worth. We found out the brand was worth $1.5 million on top of it. And again, remember, we're not just gonna tell you what it's worth, we're gonna help you increase and grow it. So yes, am I already 5 minutes?
Yeah,
Okay,
I wanna
so we have
make sure you-
go-to-market strategy, sell through value-added resellers, right? Like CPA firms, people already have these clients or invested in their financial futures. But here's the key thing, and if you're looking to do something big, which is what we think we have, if you change how a business is valued, you're gonna change how it's managed over time, right? If you're gonna change how it's valued, you're gonna change not only how you value it, but how you manage it. We're gonna be at the forefront of that. We wanna be the party that does that and brings brand valuation to private companies across the country. Good? So, if you own a company from $1 million to about $500 million a year in revenue, you're one of our targets. You're gonna wanna know what the worth is of your company, the financial value of your brand, so you can just sell it or build the value of that. But CPA firms, private equity firms who already deal with those companies, we're gonna have them sell it to those folks. It's gonna be a value-added reseller for them, but the ultimate user are private company owners.
Okay, business brokers,
Yes.
not on the list?
Yes, no, business brokers, yes. Business brokers, private equity, absolutely business brokers. I had a conversation today with a business broker.
Valuations?
Yep, all the time, yeah. I just didn't mention that. But yeah, we've got, on that slide before, I have them on there. Business appraisers, business brokers, yeah.
Because that's intellectual property.
Yes.
Non-tangible assets.
Yes. Oh,
All right.
You might have a salesman there, Jeff.
Yeah, all right, we gotta move on.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank
Jeff,
you.
great job.
Is your destination for local products. So this is where we designed this platform. If you were to find any local products made or produced, you can find it through a street, or if you want to sell any local or produced product through street. So we started in October. Currently we have a like MVP on the website. We're just testing the tool. So how it works is you put a request of whatever you want to find. So that saves you time and money by 80%, and also increases sales for the sellers. So through the app, you can like I said, you put a request, and if it's something match, then you can order it right away. If it doesn't match, then the sellers can have access to go on the unfulfilled request. They can fulfill it, or once someone find it, you get a notification that your product is found, and then you get an offer. Okay, so we have Mahmoud, my CTO. He is the back-end engineer. He used to work for IC company, and we're looking for a front-end developer to help with the front-end. That's it.
You should test it out, go to the website. Ahmed is our newest client, but I got a really nice sourdough bread from it today, so.
I like the name.
What's the website?
TheStreetApp.com.
TheStreetApp.com. Got it.
When you say front end dev, mobile or web?
No, mobile.
Mobile.
So we need someone to do like React Native or something that work on iOS and Android.
All right, anyone else? All right, great job, thank you. All right, Reed Paulus, Trukem.
Hi everyone. So my name's Reed Polis. I'm the founder of Trukem. Essentially what we do is if you have a local business and you need local delivery, we're able to provide you local delivery specialists through the use of our software platform. So We identified the problem. Essentially, there are a lot of local businesses that are essentially using 1990s technology. They have no ways to access local delivery platforms or anything that they kind of need to use and get into the e-commerce space. Last mile delivery costs also make up about 53% of total shipping expenses, and it creates a lot of barriers for small businesses to grow, because if you don't have access to a delivery fleet, and you're already kind of struggling to kind of break into the next avenue, it can sometimes be hard to take it to the next step and offer these services to your company, to your customers, sorry. E-commerce giants like Amazon, Target, Walmart already capture 60% of customer demand, so instead of people buying things locally, they end up just kind of going online, finding a large company where they can buy a lot of stuff, and ordering it through that way. I'm assuming a lot of you guys already have an Amazon or Walmart account. You guys know how often you buy something from there compared to something locally. And this pulls revenue out of our local economies and kind of hurts local, smaller communities, kind of like Youngstown, from being able to support local business. So 61% of customers prefer to have same-day delivery, but only about 9% of businesses are actually able to offer it. So that's where we come in with our solution. So what we've essentially done is we created a SaaS application where we plug into local businesses and allow them to offer local delivery options using our software. And then we partner with local delivery partners who are also looking to pick up additional work. And then they kind of integrate together. So when the customer has something that needs to be delivered, they plug it into our software platform that's tied to a business. And then one of our local delivery partners are able to pick it up. So total, this is our TAM, SAM, and, oh, that's supposed to be SOM, so my bad. Total available market on last mile local delivery is about 132 billion as of 2022. It's only going up. The service available market, which is what we're trying to hit, which is last mile delivery, is 27.1 billion in the US. And what we're trying to hit is about a $7 billion market, and the last mile delivery sector is where we found a lot of success working with. And a lot of our businesses right now are any business that sells big bulky items. And as of recent, we've also found a lot of work in the art space. A lot of people buy what can be considered as expensive or inexpensive art and don't want to ship it through USPS or FedEx. Think about any time you've ordered something and it's just the box has been absolutely destroyed. They don't want that to happen to their piece of priceless art, as you can call it. So they've elected to kind of use us to kind of facilitate that transaction. And there was supposed to be something that said thank you, but.
Great job.
Any questions? Yes.
You like, go get stuff off of an auction.
Exactly. So auction houses are one of our main customers, actually. So people buy stuff from online auctions all the time, and then they'll buy something big and realize they have absolutely no way to get it home. So that's actually one of the main pain points a lot of our auction companies have run into. I kind of helped facilitate some of the early local deliveries, and a woman spent $4 on a couple bar stools and paid us about $220 to drive them 30 miles because she had no way to get it home herself. So the margin is pretty big, and the total amount of work that needs to be done for these auction houses to get our software is very low, and delivery partners just look at it as another way of additional revenue. So they just kind of add it to their additional workflow. Any other questions?
What are your tech needs?
So we are currently using Dev Youngstown as our main kind of tech stack. So we're built out of React Native, JavaScript, and Python. I have a co-founder, his name's Jacob. He's also going to be coming back in and helping us with technical needs, but we kind of just need someone to kind of help us be more in-house. So Joe seems great, can't recommend them enough, but if we had someone who could help us kind of move quicker in one direction or another would be, I guess, more advantageous for us in the long term. So that's kind of what we're looking for.
Great. Any other questions? All right, thanks, Reed.
Thank you.
Last but not least, Sebastian Hendricks of Pave Routes.
Thank you. It does say Pave on it, but it is not.
Listen, I don't know how to get that thing over the
It's a pain in the butt. No, I get it, trust me. So it is Pave. Pave is French for paved road, paved way. Who here is a runner, cyclist, hikes, walks? Doesn't matter. Put your hands up high. Be proud of that. Alright, so there's a good amount of you out there, okay? So I was a cross-country runner, and I know we've all faced the problems of I'm tired of going the same routes all the time. If I go into a new area, where do I go, right? Or if I want something specific, how do I find it if I don't know it's already there? So what Pave does, the main meat and potatoes of it, it gives you a certain set of questions, and you answer it, and you tell it what exactly you want on your route. and it builds it for you. It's basically taking a treadmill out from inside, taking outdoors. I want my rolling hills, I want to be on a path, I want it this far, I want it to be a loop, I want it to be by a bathroom. I have Crohn's, right? So I gotta run by a bathroom, okay? So it'll find it for you, and it'll build the routes for you. So that is the main part of it. The other main aspect too is there's a lot of running apps out there. We all know that, Strava, Map My Run. But nobody has really tapped into the market of teams. So this focuses on the individuals and the team aspect. And it focuses on exclusivity. I went to Walsh University, so I do my walsh.edu, and then all of a sudden I have access to the team. The coach has access to me. He can see how I'm training, how I'm doing over summer, send announcements, send workouts, and nobody else can see what we're doing either. It's based off of that. So these are the main things. It focuses on customization and safety, so you can find the nearest safety areas, bathrooms, like I said, police stations if you need to get to that, fire station. And if you're stopped for a long period of time and you have enabled your emergency contacts and you're unresponsive, it will share your location with your emergency contacts. So that is Pave. I am looking for a full stack developer if anybody's there, or it could be front end and a separate back end too. I have worked with Dev Youngstown. Joe is amazing, right? I cannot sing his praises enough. Chandler's been amazing with that too. But that's what I'm looking for right now. So, any questions?
What's the rev model?
What's up?
How do you make revenue?
The revenue model? Absolutely. So I was looking to do a freemium version of it. And then also for the route generation, you get so many free ones. And then after you reach your specific number, from then on out, then you have to pay for those specific features then. So that'll be the premium model. What's that?
Any customers or users yet?
Yeah, so we have put out a beta. We had 2 iterations done of the MVP as well too. We had good feedback. I'm going back in again because we have made some changes. I do want to get a little bit more feedback from them. And I have Walsh who wants to pilot it, Jackson High School, which is local, who wants to pilot it as well too. And then also from the teams, there will be prices for the teams, and then 99 cents per each runner. So that way, if you have a big school, you're going to pay more. If you have a small school, you'll pay less. Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Sebastian.